noted conservationist and fly fisherman Lee Wolf mapped out the principles of catch and release fishing in his book, The Handbook of Freshwater Fishing. He's often credited as the godfather of catch and release fishing in the United States. The catch and release movement is one of the most successful conservation campaigns ever. In fact,
it's been too successful. You know, a lot of our management strategies over the years have been based on an assumption that fish are harvested, and when it comes to bass, black bass, they're just not. I mean, we do creel surveys around the state, and we measure, you know, percentage of fish that are caught, that are kept, and it's extremely low all over the place.
When anglers don't keep enough fish from a body of water, sometimes there's not enough food to sustain a robust population of fish of various sizes.
In an acre of water, there's only going to be a certain number of pounds per acre of fish. And it can either be a whole lot of small fish or a few large fish or something in between. And getting those small fish out of there allows the remaining ones to grow faster, grow larger. Historically, when we've tried to produce trophy bass, we put slot limits on, high slot limits oftentimes, 16 inches to 21 inches. With the theory being if people would harvest a lot of fish under 16 inches, that those fish over 16 inches would grow through that slot really quickly. Well, unfortunately, that just hasn't worked because the harvest never has been high enough under the slot.
There are some exceptions.
Our streams, they don't need harvest. Smallmouth bass, they don't successfully reproduce necessarily every year. It's highly dependent on stream flows during a very short window of time when they're spawning. If they get a big flood that comes through during the spawn, well, there's just no smallmouth spawn that year. You know, the Arkansas River is another place that we have a minimum length limit there because we don't want small fish kept from the Arkansas River. We want to protect those fish because that's another system where we don't necessarily get a successful spawn every year because of flooding, because of the habitat degradation that's happened over time where the backwaters have silted in. So we don't need that on the Arkansas River, we don't need it on streams, but reservoirs, I mean, you take your pick of Arkansas reservoirs, large or small, and almost all of them could use more bass harvest.
Trout anglers led the charge for catch and release fishing, and for the most part, it has provided positive results. An exception is the brown trout population on the Little Red River.
Trout anglers actually were doing it before the bass anglers. They started the catch and release ethic, and the bass anglers learned from them. And so it's been going on a long time. And for a lot of our trout waters in Arkansas, it hasn't hurt too bad because there's only the only fish in there are the ones we put there. However, in the Little Red River, we have a naturally spawning population of brown trout, and it's gotten overpopulated, and there are just tons and tons of small brown trout in there. And if you wonder why they're not getting large, it's not because there aren't a lot of them there, it's because there are too many of them there, and they're competing for limited resources in an infertile tailwater there. And if we're ever going to see the growth of brown trout on the Little Red get back to any semblance of what it was decades ago, we're going to have some anglers keep some of those brown trout because they do spawn like crazy in that river.
To be clear, fisheries managers aren't asking anglers to keep every fish they catch, but keeping some of the smaller legal fish from a particular body of water can sometimes serve the greater good.
We're not asking anybody to throw a 5-pounder in the live well and take it home and fry it. We're talking about the small fish, less than 2 pounds. Those are the most numerous fish in any lake, are the ones that are under 2 pounds. So take those home, cook those. They're the best tasting fish. They're the most abundant fish. Those are the ones you want to keep. Make it a priority. Really think about it and think about what effect it's going to have on the fishery now and into the future.
Regulations can only go so far, so it will take collaboration between biologists and anglers to help improve the natural state's fisheries.
Biologists don't manage fisheries in a vacuum. The anglers are an important component, and we need anglers to harvest fish if we want to all see the type of success we want to see with the larger fish. And if we could really get a critical mass of anglers to shift their thinking that way, we could really see a difference in our size structure, improving our size structure of our bass in Arkansas.